So I'm watching on TV here. It's called Japan Nara Deer Park. It appears that, so what it looks like is that Japan has a park. It's called Nara Deer Park, and they have deer that are treated special. They they there's like a, it's like a special, and you call it like a sanctuary, maybe a special area in Japan where they feed deers. And then we've got two deers butting heads here. Notice that they cut off their horns or something. It's probably so other deer, other bucks don't know that there's another buck nearby. See how they don't have, some of them don't have their horns. That one don't have horns. See that? Because those deers get horny. They're like people. Aren't you horny for the opposite gender? The ones that can mate? A fluffy butt. But he's got one. He's got a fluffy. That one has a fluffy butt. And how do you tell? How can you tell the bucks from the deer? Do they all have like a white, white rears? So that's just what I'm saying here is that, it's hard to like tell the difference of the deer and the young bucks. So yeah, I watch like things like this on TV, YouTube. Yeah. So this is just what I'm watching right now. But I was wanting to get on the subject of about me too, Retro Kid 1. So I have like this belly on me, like a belly, like a gut, and I don't just show it bare, but if you ever hear me coughing or like occasional kind of a cough, it's like it's called GERD. I have a condition called GERD. Yeah, I had this unfortunate, rare kind of situation. When I had this martial arts talent for Shenmue, I had like a situation where, it wasn't really understood the talent for what I'm going to do with it. It's not that everybody really understood that this is like a Sioux martial art. Jiu-jitsu, my own style, whatever. It's like, in a way, where you earn your own respect. So, if I clear my throat, if I'm congested with too much mucus membrane in my nostrils, there's a condition I have called non-allergic rhinitis, or I've had that, and then I don't know why it happens like that, but to be honest, I think a lot of these are problems like when I was a kid. Some of these things I'm talking about, this non-allergic rhinitis. I'm believing that. See, this is what I find true about me. My strength in the martial arts comes from training. Comes from having the right body condition of the body. And if my strength comes from training, which that's always how I find myself, my strength is in my training, then this is like what the problem is with me. See how my legs look different, that kind of developed a little, but my strength is from training. I have to get my training so I can live my life. You know, there's a saying that goes, everybody has to live their own lives. So, you know, it's also true for me too. Yes, so this is just me. Um, you know, so there could be a cure for my rhinitis or something, or you know what? Maybe it's not a cure for non-allergic rhinitis. Maybe I don't have it anymore. Maybe perhaps I grew out of it. But it was a condition. It's called non-allergic rhinitis, where I had to get tubes put into my ears in a surgery as a child. Because what happens is mucus, when I swallow it, it goes down my throat and into my eardrums, causing me to have ear infections a lot as a kid. But I grew out of this condition. So, you know, some things in life, they get better one day, but I think what it is with me, and just to be normal, very much like you can see the deer and the buck, that they're, you know, I remember watching this video earlier yesterday. There may have been one rare scene where you might see some mating, but uh, it's just, you know, they're not going to really show that much, because that's, you know what I'm saying. It's just the circle of life, but I'm not going to get into it. You know what I'm saying. You got to be accepted in the circles with other people. If you're in the circle, you're going to be accepted in the circle like that much. The right to mate. And the right to mate, you have to be accepted in different circles to have the right to mate. So that's, you know, partially what I'm trying to talk about, in a way that I don't just talk about, because you know, to some people you know, I don't know how to say, it's science. I look at it from a science perspective about this video. Now, you notice how these deer are accepted with other deer. They're animals, but you see, they don't have like the ability to communicate like people, and they don't, because they're animals. They're not going to judge another deer on something they're wearing, like maybe that, or something they've got a status or something. That deers are not that intelligent like people to talk. So they're just animals that accept other animals. And then is the ginkgo tree. Yeah, it's a large ginkgo tree. Now, you know, I'm just saying about, if you can understand me, you know, like, and I know a lot of people can, it's a ginkgo biloba tree. Japan, that's a nice tree. See how the deer are happy. Happy deers mean good deer milk. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? To me, it's like, uh, yeah, you know, just, I'm saying, like, you know, me, if I have, you know, I'm not going to repeat it, but, you know, as I said about my GERD, um, I want it to be understood, because I just want to say, if I'm found to have GERD, um, it doesn't mean I have a disease or something. It does not mean a disease, because I brought this up to my doctor. I asked him. I said to my doctor recently. I asked him. I said, you know, I have this coughing condition. I said, I have this coughing condition. Doctor, you know, I'm not gonna say his name, but I said, does it mean I could have something wrong with me, or or maybe you should check my blood, or check my, check my fluids, check my urine, check my, what are they gonna do? Check my liver enzymes? It doesn't matter, because what are these doctors gonna do? What can they find wrong with me? The doctors cannot find nothing wrong with me. So, but what I said, let me explain. When I asked him that, he says in response, he says it's just GERD. He says you have GERD. He says you have GERD, and so when I have GERD, that means gastro, um, starts with an E, gastro, oh, here it is, gastroesophageal, that's the word, gastroesophageal ruptural, I don't know, it's some kind of a word, but it means acid reflux. And ultimately, that's the problem I have is because, see, what happens, the acid settling in my stomach, if I can't rid the stomach, because I don't have a good lifestyle, if I'm not accepted the way I should be, like these deer, they need to mate. Those deer need to mate. The bucks need to mate with the deer. Those bucks need to mate with the deer. Those deer need to mate. Those deers are female. They're like dogs. They're like bitches. If a male stud needs to mate with a bitch, talking in AKC terminology, you have to mate your dog every 6 months, is the rule of thumb. Studs have to mate with the bitches every 6 months. So that's what I'm saying. In AKC terminology, dogs are considered, if they're female, and if they're sexually active, if they're not spayed, those are bitches. The studs use those dogs as bitches. They get with them, and then they get healthier. They live on longer. It's normal for a male to need a female. It doesn't matter the age, as long as the stud is worth something. That stud's sperm is worth something. That's a champion dog. And I'm talking like this about dogs because I'm coming from a background of a family that used to breed dogs. So I think what it is, I'm supposed to figure out these things on my own. The value of dogs, the value of the stud, the value of the bitch. It's like people. People don't want to accept this. This is what I wish I had known when I was. See, it's not that I didn't know this. See, this is like, in a way, I mean, I dated how many women, but I don't want to get into this. There's some personal, but I dated like a few different women, and oh, it's been a while. It's been a while because I'm not like, completely virgin man, so it's been a while, but it's just not enough action like that, of mating action. Mating is an action, and so the importance, this video here is about GERD, but it's also about the importance of mating, because as you can see, these deer live in peaceful harmony with other bucks, other deers, and so this is like, how I'm saying that science makes sense, even like social kind of a science. This is like, it's like a social science, but it's like a, if you're looking at, see, this is like how animals interact. I like to understand how the animals interact, how that relates to people. Because you see, I'm living like an animal in some ways. I'm here, but I'm like what? Am I a dog? Am I Inuyasha, the dog demon? See, why is that? About the jewel, there's that clinic that closed down in Elm Park, Michigan. Well, it's still there, but I mean, how to say it? It's not that they want to just release that information about that clinic, probably. So yeah, you follow my YouTube channel, understand what I'm talking about, everyday life, experiences in that, and knowledge. More knowledge is power. Yep. So oh, wow. My bones and my legs and stuff, they kind of pop a little because I'm not using the muscles enough. I'm not using the joints enough. If I'm not, but that's what I'm saying about myself. So like in a way, maybe I don't have as much interest to be like a fighter these days, a real fighter, but I do have interest in being knowledgeable, intellectual, speaking of how that's like the same. Okay, I have interest in being an intellectual man, interest in more knowledge, interest in the finer things in life, like food, like gardening, food. If I had my own house, I would garden. Now, I'm trying to say this to avail this. I don't take any psychotropic medicine in about 2 years now. No medication of a mental kind medicine because I don't need it. The doctor doesn't think I need it. The doctor doesn't think it would help me because all it's going to do is continue to numb my brain. If these psychotropic medicines, and I'm not even needing that nowadays because I'm not having issues with hearing or seeing things. And I'm not even paranoid. It's just that people, once they label you as that, as mental, for what your mental features are, also, they will never accept you if they don't understand that you're not mentally ill one day. Your condition gets better. And so I don't need to take a pill that doesn't help me. It's just going to make me feel more sick. What I need is sex. Since age 14, that's always been the answer. I just didn't know it because I'm taught to be, religious, or it's I call it religious because this is like it could be any religion. This is the problem here. Science and religion don't mix. That means any religion. Science disproves certain truths about different religions. And I don't like to get into that, but that's what people should understand. You see, when science disproves religious traditional values. See, that's like the problem. You notice that different religions around the world have traditional values that are one day, you know, they're invalid because they're such old traditions that why would you do that to yourself? Why would you deny what you need? See, you need food, right? These deer don't just need food. These bucks don't just need food. The bucks eat food too, they grow, but they also need to grow with mating. That's like something about me that, well, I don't think I should be denied mating. And that's like a problem, like if this is a problem in Michigan, right, going on here all these years, that's a serious problem I have with the state of Michigan. And really, like, it's not good because my I want to say I have male genitalia. Male genitalia. Notice I said male genitalia, meaning that I have a penis. I have testicles. I have a scrotum. I have all those things down there. I have tools that I don't want to look at it like that perspective. From that perspective, from saying tools, I have the parts that make me have the ability to mate with females, with human being girls that are okay. There's boy likes girl, girl likes boy. That's the concept. One day, boy likes girl, then girl likes boy. One day, man likes woman, woman likes man. It's just the same thing. I'm just saying that, this is why I believe teaching your kids to become, if they're a boy, they're supposed to become a man, and if they're a woman, if they're a girl, they're supposed to become a woman one day. It's just, I'm not like a bad guy or nothing, but I need to catch up. Inuyasha needs to catch up, doesn't he? So I think I'm like Inuyasha. Because if I'm kind of older, I need to catch up with a lot of Moroku actions that Moroku would take. Actually, I once knew a guy, his name was Diego. And Diego would joke with me about his hand and talk about his hand as a wind tunnel. There's this guy, he was like slender, taller. I think he might have been Italian. His name was Diego. But it's like a longer time ago. There was a girl in a class who reminded me of Shippo. She had red hair. Yeah. I don't know what became of her. Did I see her the other day by chance? It's a small community where I'm living in. There's not many things going on around here. All these deer are coming to eat. But there's more. There's supposed to be more to everybody's life than just eating. See, these are animals, and I know I had such a special talent and gift, naturally born that way, a longer time ago. But it doesn't mean that I cannot do nothing with it today still. Because, it's like a problem that I'm stuck here. If I'm stuck here, how to say it, I can't even get a job today. I'm having trouble. I'm on Indeed.com. I can't even get a job. And so it's a serious problem I have having like a hard time getting a job. I mean, if I can't get a job, I'm going to always have problems if I can't have an easy enough time getting a job. I mean, if nobody wants to hire me, this is why, I've contacted the civil rights office that I can't get a job. I got some problems here. in Wayne County, Michigan. I can't get a job. And you know, I can work. I can work. But maybe one day my work might be for special people. I might be able to get only occupied as a special person, as a voiceover actor. That might be true. And as a martial arts movie actor. You see, that's a special occupation. But I knew I had this talent at age 14. It's a likeness of JCVD. I watched his movies. Did you notice that in Bloodsport, he has like a perfect form in his moves? His moves have very fluid and perfect form. So I just, you know, and then there's power in the perfect form and fluid of the movement. But I'm not gonna get into the martial arts right now. But in any sense, any case, whatever I'm saying, this is what I'm saying about my YouTube channel. So I wanted to focus on this video broadcast with me interacting, giving voiceover feedback, or just that's not the way to say it. Voiceover. I'm giving commentary feedback about how science does not. It's about how science versus religion has, different ways of understanding the full picture. When you understand the full picture of something, you have the right perspective. You have the right idea. But you have got to understand the full picture of my YouTube channel. You've got to understand the whole situation of my YouTube channel, the whole reason for my YouTube channel. You need to understand the full picture of what I'm presenting, and not the wrong picture, not the wrong idea, not nothing that's a lie. Because if something's not true, it's a fictional tale. It's a lie. It's not true. You don't have to call it a lie. You just call it fictional. Now, the martial arts I do for Jin Kazama, they're not fictional. They're not fictional. They define it as fictional, but that may be a problem. Because I know when they're done with a perfect form and enough power, enough body structure, they're effective. The moves are effective. See, that's mating. that must have been the scene I was talking about earlier. Okay. And thank you, everyone. I'm Retro Zuki 81.